Today I want to catch up on my Masters of the Universe Origins cartoon collection, Clawful and Spikor. They are the last two before the 40th anniversary She-Ra cards, and I have been putting, well, I haven't been putting them off. There's just so many Masters of the Universe figures. I guess, yes, I have been putting them off. I haven't opened them. Last video I did was this Modulok. There's a couple things that, I really struggled with that video. I am really sad that he doesn't look good as two separate figures, which was the biggest thing going into that review that I wanted to find out. But there's a couple of things that I didn't mention that I should mention. He was advertised as the cartoon collection Modulok, at least on Amazon Canada. And he is not the cartoon collection as far as I know. Or what's your opinion? He's basic Origins. Also, another thing, the original hand, this 3-finger hand, was designed. I always thought it was really cool as a kid that you could slide the gun down in between the 3 fingers and it held really secure, sturdy. I really noticed that's one of the big things that I noticed with the original Masters of the Universe line, and kind of all toys that are around today. Like, they'll give us accessories and stuff that don't fit in their hands, and that was things that they paid close attention to back in when toys were first being created, when they were really gun-ho in the 80s. But these two hands do hold the guns, so that's fine. I like him in this form, despite, this is the biggest problems, despite these giant gaps in his torso, but he does look good like this, so that's okay. I am curious to see what a cartoon collection would look like. Maybe they won't add the gimmick so that he will be more of a standalone figure by himself. It's not too bad though. I do, like I said, I like him in this form because he's getting all beefed up, and these voids that are in his torso and stuff are being filled in by all of the extra pieces that are encompassing him and making him just look massive. And this neck piece that just elongates us. This was my going into the review. I knew I wasn't gonna like this, but this neck piece is the least of the problems. Anyway, he's cool in this form. I like it. He's got a lot of movable parts. It's so funny. Out of all of the figures, these are all modular and they can all connect in different ways. But this is the one that I definitely don't want to mess around with because he seems more fragile. Yeah. That's enough of him. Let's get these two things open. So these came out in the waves where they started releasing them in 2 waves, but they would call them 4 waves. So it's really they would show you on these card backs that there's 4 to this wave, but they actually would release them in sets of 2 with different mini comics each time. So I guess I did. Oh yeah, and you got them later at later dates too, because this is why these two haven't been opened, because I already opened up Evelyn and Webster. But Spikor in Clawful cartoon edition, older cards, great art. You have seen these. They even come with this was back when you knew that they were coming with artifacts that were distinct to the Filmation cartoon. So he's coming with some horn, which is cool, and Clawful looked so different in the cartoon. I definitely remember him. I believe he was in the first season, which in Canada, I think where I lived in Canada, we only got season 1. That's the only cartoons I saw. There were laser discs. I was remembering laser discs. That's when I first discovered Masters of the Universe. Oh, here. I'll talk about that while I'm opening it, but take a look at the card and the artwork. And it says, as seen on the games, is where these 2 little translucent orbs, so I'm excited to get those, Arturnian artifacts. That's cool. And then includes comic, and it says includes Horn of Evil. Funny that they don't say that up here. Here it says includes comic book. This comic book is already falling out. We got my schematic drawing. Coolness. Check out the artwork. Is there anybody we haven't gotten yet? No, we got all those guys. Anybody here? that we haven't gotten yet? What's He-Man wearing? He's just swinging on a vine. Interesting choices in comics there. All right, let's crack these open. So laser discs. Do you remember laser discs? That's how I discovered there was a Masters of the Universe cartoon. I guess I grew up in a small fishing community in Nova Scotia, Canada. And I guess because we only had 2 television stations at the time in the 80s, that maybe before the syndication started, I didn't know about it, but just down the street we did have a Laserdisc rental store. Laserdiscs were amazing, and I think I have to Google search that and see if people still sell, if they sell them on eBay, because they're the size of records. They were CDs inside these plastic shells, so you couldn't see that they were CDs, but inside the plastic shells. I guess nobody's watching this review who doesn't know what a Laserdisc, but I'm just regurgitating how awesome they are. Giant CDs the size of records inside of plastic shells. But that was the best part, is that all of the artwork, it was like having a VHS tape, you know, where you have the scenes from the show and the synopsises and everything, but they had so much real estate. They had the real estate of a record sleeve to write what was on, and the pictures could be bigger, and it was ultimate coolness. I would love to have like the complete cartoon collection on Laserdisc. Wouldn't that be awesome? And guess what? They weren't getting all scratched up. Like, yeah, I don't remember them skipping. Maybe I'm wrong in not remembering them skipping. Let's not mix things up here. Okay, all right. Clawful. Am I gonna remember their names? Clawful and Spikor. Of course I know it. These are 2 regular characters. Clawful is kind of throwing me off, because he does have that, what is it? Is it a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? No, it's one of the Snake Men. He's got that new Snake Man's head, which is so weird. And he looks so different he's one of the characters that looked so different. Who else was, in the Horde they had Tongue Lasher, or was he Tongue Lasher? Did they give him a different name? That was really, really interesting that they did that in the She-Ra cartoon. But we'll have to, I'm not even sure. I'm gonna have to think about that. They'll have Tongue Lasher as a, yeah, I'm having a little, I'm having an aneurysm, basically. All right, there's the cards. There's the cards back. I guess, is this the last time we're going to see this cartoon version? After She-Ra is gone, will this card return, or will they come up with a new one? Will there be no more cartoon? I don't know. There's no, yeah, the Filmation can only be She-Ra or Masters of the Universe. Have we completed it all? I'm not sure. Alright, so Spikor we're taking out of here. Now that we thought about laser discs and everything. Really bright colors. This is why. Okay, oh yeah, there is more that I wanted to talk about the laser discs. The laser discs are where I discovered Masters of the Universe. I discovered that there was a cartoon. I only knew it as scary, barbarian, creepy. That's what I liked about it. Just with a little hunky chunky toy. Like, it was like Fisher-Price toys that were really edgy. It was my from Little People to Fisher-Price Adventure People into Masters of the Universe. It was like the easiest progression, because they just were beefed up. I loved how chunky those other toys were in my hands as a baby, but as I got bigger, then I wanted something chunkier and sturdier. And that was the game. But so the cartoon I was really disappointed, actually. So I found the laser discs, brought it home, and then it was all funny, and there was Orko and comic relief and stuff. It wasn't even as a kid, I'm an alternative movie, dark black comedy, if it is funny. That is my kind of jam. I'm gonna need to know what these little pegs are for and stuff. These artifacts are cool. I mean, I don't know what these are. I probably didn't see the cartoon because I think that he was in the season 2, which I did not see, which I did start to talk about. But maybe I did see some of the season 2s on these laser discs. But I think that even the laser discs were before that. Oh, you know what? Those aren't pegs. I think these are hand grenades. And then he's got this handle. Oh yeah, and they made it so you could hold on to this, and they gave him 2 holding hands, which is kind of awesome. And I don't remember in the cartoon if he swapped out his wrist for a hand back and forth or not, but I guess so. Oh, look, in the artwork, he doesn't have this forked hand. Maybe he never had this forked hand in the cartoon, for all I know. I do have all of the new CDs, and I have bought the whole cartoon collection. It's just, I'm not really into cartoons. I like the Mike Young cartoon. What I do like, though, which I say in all of these reviews, especially the cartoon collection, is I like pop art, and I like bright colors, and I like cartoon art. I like how bright and colorful these are, and how simplified they are, and how, you know, the details are flushed out, and the paint deals are all blocky. And that is what I like about the cartoon collection toys. Like, they are like perfect toys. What do I got going on here? I got some glue mishaps or something. Maybe that can be cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, it seems to be hard glue. Yeah, I'm chipping it off with my fingernail, so I'll get into that later. Am I gonna take off his? I don't know if this spiky thing comes off. It seems that no, not like the new figures that they're making, which I'm noticing that all of these shells are coming off. What is that? Oh, it is the cartoon series. Like, I've watched some of the reviews of some of the ones that I haven't opened, like Grizzlor, for example. Like, his fur will completely come off the body. This is not the case with Spikor, even though, like I was talking about with Modulok, all of these pieces are modular and so cool. I love how he is the standard buck, though, for the most part, with the legs and the furry boots that are just painted different. That's what I love about Masters of the Universe, the mix and match of all the same parts, and then they just give an embellishment of the head. And this Spikor is looking really, really good. Spikor was actually one of the action figures that I did not have as a kid. I had most of them, and as I got older and as the line went on, I had my own money, and I was able to buy every single figure that I wanted, and I could go to the store and get everything, but except Eternia, because it was $100 or something. So there was no getting that. But he looks so good. The colors are great. Do I have to? I love these little translucent bombs. Those are really cool. But let's switch out his hand. Is there a hand that I should swap it out in? It says to put it into this hand. So let's do that. Not that I'm sure it matters. It doesn't have a gimmick where it pulls out. They didn't give 2 different hands, because the one, it went up inside of his arm and it shot out. I like it. I like that Origins doesn't have gimmicks. I never got the gimmick toys. I didn't get one gimmick He-Man and Skeletor. I just wanted their definitive, and then I thought, oh, that's some other figures that I did not have for sure. Yeah, whenever they had the gimmicks, I didn't want them. I wanted their signature look, and I was satisfied with that. So I know that most people, the kids, the slightly younger than I did, they discovered Masters of the Universe later, after the cartoon was on television and it was in syndication. So everybody usually, and I know that most people's favorite He-Man and Skeletor is Battle Armor He-Man and Skeletor, because that is the nostalgic one. That was the one that was so readily available for all of the kids to get when the cartoon was the first syndicated cartoon to be on every single day, Monday to Friday. What, after school? Like, insane. And so many episodes. Yeah, this is cool. He looks good like this. I like that this is clashing. This is also reminiscent. I mean, these colors are different from the original toy where it was the craziest, sickest 1970s color combinations where they were muted and dull and creepy. But these ones are bright, and I love how we got orange and pink clashing. So it kind of takes homage to that too, where it's just these colors that should not go together, but you can see how amazingly awesome they look together. They really had some amazing people working on the line, just creating Masters of the Universe from the beginning. I love watching the toys that made us. It makes so much sense when they describe how the toys were created. There was no method to it. It was just madness, and then trying to get something out and trying to make something that was easy to make, and just mixing and mashing things together. Like that really is what Masters of the Universe is. But at the same time, they had all of these talented artists working on it, so they knew about color and form and design. So it was like this blend of wackiness with this like intense artistry, like based on the 70s and creepy things, and it just worked out. It worked out perfect for what I was interested in. All right, Clawful here has two holding hands. Look, he's got that little hole in there so that he can hold like guns and weapons and spears, but he doesn't come with any. He does come with this horn of plenty, and this I'm pretty sure I saw this. What is it called? Horn of Evil. I must have seen this. I mean, wait, did I see? Yeah, I don't think I've seen every cartoon. I really don't think I've seen it. I got dull hair. Here we go. The horn is really, really cool. Look how creepy. Speaking of creepy, look, we've got that skull that looks so much like Castle Grayskull's face. That really looks like it jumped out of, it's like the skulls that are in the ground from the animated series. I mean, the art was also amazing too. Just like I love the reproduction, the repetitiveness of the bodies, and just reusing the parts, and the same Skeletor's feet on He-Man's body. And I'm going to talk about Zodak now. That's why Zodak is my favorite character. Zodak was Beast and Space and Barbarian all mixed in one, so all of the three entities that all mashed together. So he definitely was my favorite master, and still is my favorite Masters of the Universe character, which I would love to get him in a cartoon. We need to get him with the chair. They drew Castle Grayskull's throne as his chair. It's just throwing things around. The cartoon did mix things up. What I was starting to say is, yeah, the cartoon reused parts too. They reused the animation. There is something really charming about the Masters of the Universe animation, because it was so simplified, and the reuse of parts and the color combinations again were incredible. Even into She-Ra, those colors when it went all pastel. Yeah, kind of good. They did retain the creepy colors in the cartoon. That's really, really true. But then they mixed in these bright awesomeness. Like, he looks so different from, look at this. He looks so different from the Clawful that we knew, which is kind of great. Look at this body part. Does this come off? Yeah, this comes off. It's gonna really hard to get off. There's no plugs on this harness. They just had to, the children had to really jam this on, I guess, I think that's how you have to do it. There we go. Body's really weird on the cartoon collection. I find it's much different. Like, it's not as V-shaped. It's blocky. It doesn't get broader at the shoulders, which my original problem with the original Origins figures is that the shoulders were way too bulbous. They were a little too pronounced. They still are, like the Origins figures, but I mean, I'm not complaining at all, because I love the Origins better than I even love my original figures. I love the added articulation. I love that they've taken away gimmick. They went for, the original line was gimmick before design, and now it's design before gimmick, which is, I'm all for that. Which is why Modulok is such a disappointment to me, but maybe we have another opportunity in the cartoon collection, if that one is not the cartoon collection. The horn is beautiful. Look at this. Look at this color orange. That is totally a separate piece of plastic. Like, I love when toys are made like this. This is why they remind me of Fisher-Price, when we got this block of color, that this is all one solid piece of plastic, and it attaches to the body, and this leg is all one solid piece of plastic. Why weren't these hip joints removable? They really should have done that. I really wish that was done. The only thing that Mattel has not fixed that the fans were complaining about was the loincloth. So when the figures first came out, they said that the loincloth looked too naked. It was because you could straighten out their legs, and they looked too revealing, and just one of the reasons why the Masters of the Universe community always thought that Masters of the Universe could never sell, because they were like from this wrestling time period where we've got these musclemen walking around with no clothes on, and that wouldn't have appealed to modern kids. But anyway, the loincloth, you can't, that was really easily fixed by just bending their legs. I don't see it though anymore. I guess I do. They might have maybe fixed it a little bit on these cartoon versions. But if you would squat them down in their pose that they're supposed to be in, I'm not sure that the cartoon collection is supposed to be in the pose as much as the squatted leg pose. I don't think it works as well when you're trying to make them stand. But that's what I do when I'm like putting them away or looking at them. I try to make these squat as much as possible, because that is what I like about them. As hunky and chunky as possible and sturdy. That is, even as I love a sturdy toy, and to this day I love a sturdy toy, because I know that I can play with it and have fun with it. And out of the two, I do like Clawful, but I guess it's the colors that I like. But these spikes are so good, and he looks a lot better in cartoon form than he did ever in his original form. And I don't even remember opening. We've had so many of these, I don't even remember opening the original or the Origins, standard Origins Spikor, but I should be doing a comparison with him. But I don't usually do those in these videos. I will be doing collection videos probably once I finish some factions. These are the last factions of these. Oh, I gotta look at this. Man, I can talk forever about Masters of the Universe. I love it so much. Yeah, we have moved on to the She-Ra side of the cartoon collection, but it really is just a card change. Most of She-Ra we're only getting... I didn't have the microphone even pointed at my mouth. Hopefully you can hear me. Yeah, most of the She-Ra that we got was, or most of the ones that we're getting on the She-Ra cards are just regular Masters of the Universe figures. You know, we're getting one She-Ra per 3. The waves are now 3. These were waves of 4, but really waves of 2. And these are the 2 comic books. So this is one comic book that I haven't gotten yet, but let's look at these schematic drawings first, which I collect these as well. I love this artwork. So good. And it shows you what pieces can be removable. I should probably look at these before I start pulling on stuff. But I did not remove the wrists, or most of the arms, or most of the feet, or most of the torsos. No, I did remove all that stuff. And here's the comic book. So the comic book, and I always like to get at least one of these international and one of them American, but I don't think that the cartoon collection came out in international at all, in that we used to get the comic books, didn't have the captions in our international comic books. So here in Canada, those would be gone and we would just have the pictures, and not knowing. I've talked about that lots too, but it's been a while since I've seen that happen. But that's what's going on. We've got the horn there. I don't know what's happening. I don't think I've read any of these yet, but I do collect them in my binder. And we have to do the other clamp champ. I can't wait to get another clamp champ. Wait, I probably already have them. I have to open them. I have to snake armor clamp champ. All of the snakes I have to get to. So many snakes to open. Next video I'm doing for tomorrow, but I think I'm going to record it right now. I'm getting a first time ever. I'm getting ahead of myself. I wanted to do it for today, but tomorrow you are going to see for MOTUsday. This is going to be MOTU Monday, but for MOTUsday, I'm finally going to open up those 4 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones that turn into whatever the robot is. I don't know anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja. Well, I don't know anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but I was only interested in Masters of the Universe until I stopped being interested in toys. So once I got my hands on Skeletor, no other toys, wasn't interested in any other toys, and all I did, oh, that's not true, except for Lego. Lego's awesome. I got to do more Lego videos. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow you will get to see awesome turtles, 4 figures turn into one, and hopefully it doesn't disappoint me as much as it does with Modulok. Hopefully the modular design is everything that it's turned out to be. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Until then.